Hi, today I want to make a video that honestly is long overdue. Today I want to talk to you about Kiruv, Jewish outreach, or literally inreach, and how it should be done according to Jewish law. Why is this video so important? Well, because if Kiruv is not properly done, it ends up creating more problems than it solves. Friends, anyone who's ever seen campus Kiruv rabbis at work already know that these rabbis approach student after student asking them, are you Jewish? Are you Jewish? Are you Jewish? And when someone says no but is interested in their message, they turn them away and then walk away as if they accomplished some big mitzvah. Well, did they? No. Friends, imagine if a non-Jewish group on campus went around doing the same things. Would we consider that cruel or holy? Today, my friends, I'm going to bring down the Judaic sources for Kiruv, mainly so we can make sure that we help and not hurt the cause. First and foremost, we have to understand that Kiruv means to bring close. So, in other words, it is our job to do as it says in Pirkei Avos, to be like the sons of Aaron and bring the world those born of Jewish mothers and not to Torah. And honestly, apart from that fact, Jews really have no reason to exist. Friends, God didn't appoint the Jewish people to be his mouthpiece to the world in order for us to be insular and selfish people. Because honestly, you didn't even have to be Jewish to do that. That comes natural. In other words, it's not a holy act. And more is expected from us. No, friends, but what is a holy act and what makes Judaism unique from all other religions that preceded it was that we have a commandment to love the stranger. And no, friends, that doesn't mean to love a convert, because a righteous convert is not a stranger. He is a full Jew. But rather it says, you shall love the stranger because you were strangers in Egypt. And who better emulated this than our father Abraham, who the rabbis teach used to go out and look for converts. They teach that Abraham converted the men and Sarah converted the women. They further teach that Yitzhak and Yaakov did the same thing. That's why the Rambam writes that one cannot even fulfill the mitzvah of loving Hashem unless we share him with others. Now, I know that till now all this sounds pretty logical, but unfortunately the vast majority of religious Jews don't get it. Why not? I don't know. Friends, our sages teach us that HaKadosh Baruch Hu considers converts to Judaism dearer to him than born Jews. So then why shouldn't we, not only for the world's sake, but for the glory of the Almighty, go out and bring people to the life-changing faith of Avraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov? Now, I obviously don't think that everyone out there is strong enough or even committed enough to become Jewish. As a matter of fact, I feel the same way about 98% of all born Jews. No, friends, I'm targeting the remnant that will heed the calling to take up the banner of Torah. And they're out there, my friends. And if you don't get to them, someone else will, whether it's Reform Judaism or even Islam. The rabbis even teach that Jews were exiled in order that they should acquire converts. So this isn't a new concept. But friends, perhaps if you have held different opinions in the past, today is the time to rethink this issue. Because even all major historians agree on the fact that Jews used to actively seek new adherents to the faith. From Josephus, Philo, Paul Johnson, Saul Baron, they all state the same. And I have to mention that not one historian till today has ever brought historical proof for Jews spreading the 7 laws in any way. Now, I'm not stating that I don't believe the 7 laws are divinely inspired, because I do, but rather I'm just reiterating what you've always deeply understood to be true, that these laws are for the Bronze Age, not today. That's why our sages teach us that Christianity and Islam are not like idolatrous religions in the past. No, but rather they are offshoots of a holier religion, Judaism. And these two religions are actually the two religions that have done the most to bring the world to monotheism as we know it today. And Christianity and Islam both contain the ethical precepts outlined in those 7 laws. That's why it states in Bava Kama that God abolished the 7 laws of Noah. In other words, that the only hope for all humanity is for them to become Jewish. That's why there's also a clear opinion in Brachos that says that the whole world will convert to Judaism, and even the Rambam brings this down. So the big question we should ask is, how did we stray so far from the right path? And we have to understand that for almost our whole exile, Jewish outreach was not tolerated by the world, and if done, was punishable by death. So in order not to put Jewish lives in danger, proselytizing almost completely vanished. Another reason for the lack of outreach is the fact that Jewish law has never really been monolithic. And actually, the more time we spend in exile, the less monolithic it becomes. So because of horrendous persecution, over time we become more insular and lose sight of our sole purpose, which is to bring the world to ethical monotheism. So let me briefly explain the laws of Noah, just in case you're not familiar with them, because many just toss them at non-Jews without even knowing what they are. It's a prohibition against murder, stealing, worshiping false gods, sexual immorality, eating the limb from a live animal, cursing God, and the commandment to establish courts of justice to enforce the previous 6. Now, first of all, many erroneously think that there are only 7 laws to the laws of Noah, but that is just not true. They range from around 39 to 70 laws. And another thing you probably didn't know is that someone is for the death penalty for breaking any of the 7, while a Jew would certainly not be. Even the Rambam brings down that if a Noahide was sentenced to die, and before his execution he decided to convert to Judaism, the penalty would be dropped, and then he would be leniently judged as a Jew. In other words, it is crystal clear that in every area of life and afterlife, it is more beneficial to be a Jew than a non-Jew. Now, unfortunately, I know this goes against everything you may have heard. I know that you've heard rabbis erroneously say things like, why would you want to convert to Judaism when you could just keep the 7 laws? You have it so much easier than we born Jews. Friends, I'm sorry, but that rabbi has neither studied the issue or is just infatuated with Jewish blood, that he will do anything to keep newcomers from supposedly tainting his precious gene pool. Friends, that's our purpose as Jews. We are to be a light unto the nations. And as it tells us in Mishlei, that the Torah is that light, and the mitzvahs are the candles. So let's let them shine through us. It even says in the Talmud in Yuma, it tells us that if you find an abandoned child in a city that is mostly non-Jewish, what do you do with it? It says you take him home and convert him to Judaism, not to raise him as a Noahide. The reason the Talmud gives for doing this is that you don't need permission to do something that's beneficial for somebody. Friends, I hope you're hearing me today. The Gemara also states that converts suffer for not having converted earlier. And the rabbis even bring down that the reason that Abraham was told to circumcise himself in his 90s was to let future converts know that it's never too late to convert to Judaism. Now, although I've given you a lot already, we haven't covered halacha. Now, I'm going to try to cover briefly the halachas on how to treat potential converts, and then you can decide for yourself. First, in the Rambam's Mishnah Torah in Hilchos Asurei Bia, chapter 14, it states, when a convert comes to convert, we first check for ulterior motives. We also let him know that at the present time, Jews are subjugated for keeping Torah. And if he answers, I know, would it be that I could be a part of them, we accept him immediately. Then we inform him of the fundamentals of the faith. We inform him about some of the easy mitzvahs and then some of the more severe ones. But we don't elaborate on all the particulars, lest we cause him concern and he turn away from the good path that he has chosen. For at the outset, we draw a person near with soft and appealing words. Words of discouraging and turning away? I don't know. Anyways, reading on, it says, just as he is informed of the punishment for disobeying the commandments, so too is he informed of the reward for keeping the commandments. We tell him that by keeping the commandments of God, he will inherit life in the world to come. We tell him, know that the world to come is hidden away only for the righteous, and they are the Jews. For all the nations will perish, and they, the Jews, will prevail. We elaborate on this concept to make them feel cherished. So friends, whoever said that Judaism doesn't encourage converts hasn't obviously studied the halachas. It states that from the outset we draw him forth with appealing words and we try to make him feel cherished. It's amazing, huh? Do you see what I'm talking about? Do you see where the rabbis today have missed the point? It's plain unwarranted cruelty the way rabbis treat non-Jews who want to convert nowadays. Now, that's our first source. Our other halachic source is Rabbi Yosef Karel's Shulchan Aruch in Yoreh De'ah. Now here the Shulchan Aruch really quotes the same source. It states, when one comes to convert, 3 people say to him, what prompted you to convert? Do you know that Israel is oppressed? If he says, I know, yet I am not worthy to join them, accept him immediately, and inform him of the principles of the faith, of the unity of God, and the prohibitions against idolatry. Also instruct him a bit in a few of the less difficult mitzvahs and a few of the more serious mitzvahs. This is, again, another example how we're not to scare him away by saying it's too hard. Also it reads on, so too you should inform him of the rewards of following the mitzvahs, that in doing these mitzvahs he will merit life in the world to come. It says, expound at length upon this in order to make the words attractive. If he accepts, circumcise him immediately. Wait until the circumcision heals and then convert him. Friends, these are the only 2 halachic sources that exist on the issue, and they're virtually identical. So you're probably asking, where is the turning away 3 times that people say so much? Well, they actually made that up. And where is also offering them the 7 laws and telling them how you're nuts to want to convert to Judaism? My friends, rabbis of today have gone rotten compared to our sages of old who saw the value in being Jewish. And the main reason that rabbis of today place so many stumbling blocks in front of a potential convert is because they themselves don't like being Jewish. And also, there is nothing prohibiting a Jew from actively encouraging non-Jews to embrace Torah and, God willing, convert to Judaism. And as a matter of fact, we actually asked this exact shaila to Rav Moshe Lazarus from Or Sameach, and he told us that is not against halacha, and it's perfectly fine to encourage non-Jews to become Torah-observant Jews. And my friends, every Jew who mistreats potential converts are going to have to pay either in this world or the next. So please consider that. Friends, we even see that Torah giants like Hillel, the leader of his generation, took time to learn the olive base with potential converts. Why? Because he understood its value. Actually, the tables nowadays have been flipped upside down. We have rabbis who bow to secular Jews, giving them anything they want if they only commit to act religious. Now, this form of kiruv has only resulted in creating empty vessels who may look religious, but who have never truly understood the purpose of being religious. And what is actually ironic is that the rabbis bring down that it's actually the irreligious Jews who are supposed to be turned away partially. This statement in the Talmud actually is referring to irreligious Jews, not potential converts. Throughout Jewish history, non-religious Jews have always been the ones to be skeptical about, mainly because he is the one who has caused religious Jews the most harm. So please, friends, open your eyes, because there's a world that's dying out there, and we're just being selfish. Actually, another reason I made this video is that I get many calls from people turned away from synagogues who choose not to accept their Orthodox conversions, while at the same time, the same shul would have no problem accepting a public Sabbath desecrator who tramples on the Torah daily. Why? Because their Torah values have become corrupt. Friends, there is no mitzvah to love secular Jews. Rather, we do have a mitzvah to love the stranger. Again, because ultimately we have seen historically that it has been secular Jews who have done the most harm to religious Jews, like the Pablo Christianis of the world, and most of the blood libels who were actually brought by unethical Jews, and even the Jewish communists whose actions resulted in the Holocaust. Now, I'm not for closing the door on secular Jews, God forbid, but rather I'm just for reaching out to everyone equally. So friends, we really have to wake up. Thank you.